Good morning, friends. We're immersing ourselves in forgiveness and in forgiving. I'm Bob, and I'm bringing you another Devo for today. And today I want to focus on the flip side of what I talked about yesterday, and that is that we talked about yesterday that parents need to forgive their children, and that creates an open lane of growth for them to be able to grow into the people that God has made them. That we actually put judgments on them, and that we actually will say things that are condemning toward our children, and we will hold unforgiveness. And we need to forgive and give and be generous. We need to take that boomerang effect and apply it to our parenting and forgive sincerely, forgive deeply from the heart. Now, the other side of this is that kids, I want to ask you, if you're an adult child or if you're listening into this and you are a teenager or kids, you're going to need to forgive your parents as well. No matter what, if your parents are 80 years old, if your parents are 100 years old, if your parents are 30, it doesn't matter. That forgiveness is really important dynamic that makes relationships work, that causes us to be able to go deeper and to have depth in our love for each other rather than sort of living here kind of at the surface of things. And so I remember years ago when I was challenged to forgive my dad. Now, I've told you before, again, no mystery, my dad's a con man, and it was a fiasco growing up in the household with him. But I think the reality was that I didn't realize how much baggage that I was packing inside of myself. And that was sculpting and driving my life in particular ways. And it was keeping me from being who God wanted me to be instead of helping me to be that. I was reacting to what my dad wanted and didn't want to be that. I was reacting to his isms, his dysfunction, instead of being responsive to God and his love for me to be able to create a clear path for me to grow up in. So I remember sitting down with one of my mentors and taking the time to forgive my dad deeply from the heart. And it was a revolutionary experience. My first time, the first round of forgiveness for my dad took 3 hours as I did that. And it was a crazy, actually really helpful time for me. And it was like, there was like a log jam in my life of the blessing just couldn't get through. And there's this log jam. And then by forgiving, it just sort of forgave it. For the forgiveness actually sort of took the logjam out and everything started to flow. And in me, it wasn't like I all of a sudden, became different overnight. But what it did was it freed me to start becoming the man that God really wanted me to be. But I had to forgive my dad. I had to forgive my parents. And forgiving my parents was a huge part of God freeing me to be the man who he's called me to be. And I believe that it's the same thing for you. It's the same thing for all of us, that none of us are exempt, that these people that were in our lives that are the most close, no matter how good that they were, that there's still forgiveness that's needed. They're still with me and my kids. I had great relationships with my kids, but we've had to work through forgiveness for each other plenty. And I'm sure that we're not done with that because we're branches. We are, we're hard charging. We can be opinionated, all these different kind of things like that. And we will prick each other. And when we do, we have to forgive. And then we work it out. We reconcile. This is life. This is humanity. This is the fullness of Christ in humanity. It doesn't mean that we're conflict free. It means that conflict doesn't have the final say. So today I want to challenge you. Do you need to forgive your parents? Ask the Lord. Ask him and about what kinds of things might be residual things that you've been hanging on to for a long time. And I realize that I'm asking you to do something that's difficult. I'm asking you to do something that's going to free you, but it is very difficult and you're going to need God to help you do it. But this is going to be critical to walk in the full freedom that Jesus has paid for us on the cross. Think about that today and then do it. Think and then forgive. Thanks so much for joining me. I love you. That's why I'm saying these things. That's why we're investigating this together. God bless you.